But anyway, but this is about sleep hacking because we've had this topic come up several times where it's like, man, if I spend, well, some people spend 4 hours and some people spend 8 hours, sleeping. It's like, what can I do anything else with that time, like whether I'm conscious or not? And there's all sorts of things that I think when you guys think about sleep, what comes to mind, right? One is like, REM sleep and, using harmonics to, get into deeper sleep and what is healthy sleep. And then of course there's all the, things like nootropics and devices and sound and all the things that kind of go into like trying to help you get good sleep. And I don't think that everybody really understands sleep that well, other than part of the challenge of whether you wake up with energy or not. And of course, what Craig will say, I'll just kind of shortcut. He'll for sure say a lot of it has to do with nutrition. And Momo, you're on here, you would probably agree with that too, and your environment and everything else. But I do think that at the end of the day, there's components of sleep that many of us don't even know what the menu is, right? And so what I'm going to show you guys, and then I'm going to send to you, is some of the information that I had kind of gobbled together, asking a ton of questions, using the web, using ChatGPT to try to understand, what components go into sleep. And so if you guys are down for it, I'm going to kind of roll through some of this stuff. I'm not going to read every line because I'm going to send this to you. But I think it's really interesting to see, like, there are things that weren't even on my radar that could affect sleep. And then we'll go from there. So if you guys will just give me a second, I'm going to pull this up, and then y'all just give me a thumbs up when you can see this. Okay, cool. Okay, so long story short is, I had put this thing together in advance of Craig, sharing his knowledge. So I got his name on here, but I'm not going to assign what is here. I think the way to look at this document that we, put together and we'll send to you is like a menu of awareness. And that's why Craig's going to come back and do, kind of advanced sleep hacking with some more, hardcore elements. But I'm just going to run you through the structure of what's here, right? So, first of all, when you look at like what sleep hacking is, this is a little bit of a executive summary. You could just kind of see, what goes into the variables, like an equation that could affect your sleep. It's schedule, right? I mean, everything that I had read, even beyond this document, which is meant for executives like you guys, was, consistency, right? To have a rhythm, that's an important. And then you got the environment, you've got the duration, right? Everybody that I've met who is at the forefront of, biohacking or nutrition or whatever, always says, I usually see 6 to 8, but 7 to 9 here. Then you've got stress management, right? I think your brain, obviously doesn't shut off everything, even though you're asleep. And you can see the things here like nutrition and some of the technology and some of these other things, right? But one of the interesting things about this particular one, I think it's phasic sleep, is dividing these sleep schedules. And I'm not sure we're going to open this up to kind of your experience, but I know some executives that will sleep for 6 hours, but they perpetually block either 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour in the afternoon because that's all they need to recharge. And this is an actual pattern that allows them to sleep total less time, but without losing any of the mental energy or stamina that we all talk about. And then of course you got supplements and medications, and then some of these other techniques. So this thing is a little bit of like, what are some of the things that go into tools or areas that, if you're looking at this as a math equation, these are the variables that we can mess with. So if we kind of roll down into here and, we get into the definition of sleep hacking, you can start to see a little bit more detail, right? Tracking your sleep, right? I think, we're moving into a world with incredible measurement and in AI that, is kind of like, finding answers between the data for us. We talked about sleep. We talked about optimizing the environment and supplements and technology and hygiene.